Zimbabwe is fully committed to honoring its obligations as far as the promotion and protection of human rights is concerned.
Zimbabwe remains committed to protection and promotion of fundamental rights and freedoms.
The Zimbabwe government has clearly shown its commitment to the promotion and protection of human rights.
The government of Zimbabwe has focused on ensuring the socio-economic development of its citizens.
I now give the floor to United Nations Watch.
Thank you, Madam President. In coming to debate the report that is before us today, I am reminded that in 2005 I was invited by CNN to debate human rights issues with the then Ambassador of Zimbabwe to the United Nations, Boniface Chichusiku. 7 years later, various and sundry reforms have been declared, and yet it is with profound regret that we see the people of Zimbabwe continuing to face many of the same violations of their basic human rights. What emerges from today's report is that, as in 2005, the government of Prime Minister Robert Mugabe continues to deny its citizens the minimal guarantees of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Now, the government has claimed in paragraph 6 of the report that it provides, quote, independent institutions, legislation, and policy frameworks aimed at protecting and promoting the human rights of its people, end quote. Well, UN Watch and 20 other NGOs recently hosted a human rights summit right across the street. One of our compelling and credible witnesses was Justina Mukoko, a human rights activist and director of the Zimbabwe Peace Project. She told of how during the 2008 elections, quote, the country was plunged into chaos as supporters of the opposition were hunted like they were some kind of wild animal with a prized body part. Most human rights activists were conscious of the possible risk of detention, and most of us would not sleep in our homes. End quote. Similarly, the government of Zimbabwe states in paragraph 15 that ratification of the Convention Against Torture was, quote, under active consideration by the government. We ask if this is sincere. Justina Mukoko, herself a victim of torture, called upon the government to, quote, put an end to extrajudicial killings of those who hold different views and opinions and to do away with enforced disappearances and torture. In paragraph 9, Zimbabwe says their laws limiting civil liberties are, quote, fair and constitutional mechanisms to regulate the conduct of meetings in a democratic state. Well, in this regard, Justina Mukoko has testified as follows. For most people, just a reminder of the past atrocities by their former perpetrators, many of whom still walk the streets scot-free, is enough to make them afraid. The monitoring of civil society organizations in the human rights sector is gaining momentum. Madam President, let us heed the voices of courageous people like Justina Mukoko. Thank you.
Gracias.